Hello everyone, my name is OV, and today in this video, I don't want to talk to you about anything in particular. What this is going to be a little bit of a roundup of what has happened in the past, I guess I want to say roughly 10 days, 2 weeks-ish, since I've put up my last video. So it's going to be quite a few many little topics. I'll finally, for this video, for those that have been asking, I'm going to figure out how to put in the little chapters, or where you can skip forward or whatever, in case there's something that you're completely not interested in, and that way you can listen to the parts that you want. But anyways, but yeah, this basically, it's a little bit of a roundup of things I've been doing, my observations, and a little bit of the news that you probably already have gotten from all the bigger influencers, but I want to go over a little bit in detail. All right, so let's get going. All right, so let's start with my gold making ventures. To be honest with you, I have not made much gold. The reason being, some of you may know that I was really focused on getting all my alts leveled. Not only as far as leveling, because it really wasn't important getting them to 70, only my main, but getting them maxed out as far as their skill points, and their rep and their metal, and honestly, that was exhaustive. It was so much time and money and just grind to do this. So when I was listening to some of these people, whether or not they should ban people that were exploiting the whole artisan metal and the rep. I mean, like, it's a gray area for me, but I would deep in my heart I would say it was not a bannable offense, because we were just taking advantage of something that was there. Maybe that was not the case, or that wasn't what they were intended, but they never said anything. They're like, hey, this is not, we don't want you guys to be doing this, let's fix it. They took forever to fix it. So, I have to say, you had to learn it and then buy all of the product to relearn it up, to then do the quest when you were at 50, and then go do the little side quest. You had to go kill mobs or collect things, and then do the work orders. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot to do all the professions and then do them on multiple alts, and I just sunk probably 500,000 gold in doing that, and I think in the end it might have been a mistake. So those guys of you that didn't didn't do the swap, you might be very happy to learn that in the end probably it wasn't worth it, even for the metal. Except for alchemy, it was definitely needed if you even wanted to have a chance at making any money. But for like your tools and other kind of stuff like that, and buying the stuff that you can get from the Artisans Consortium, honestly, I don't think it was even worth it. It should have just been taking our time, and because the market, honestly, once I finally got all that done and started to see where or which one of my alts I would really pursue, right? Because the only reason I do this with my alts is just to be self-sufficient. I hate having to need one thing, and that one thing is like super expensive, or somebody's manipulating the market, which doesn't happen as much. I should have probably remembered that, since now it's a regional auction house, and the other stuff, well, it really hasn't moved. But that was usually my impetus to have my alt army, my mini alt army, that is 4 or 5 characters, and have them all do everything. And if I needed Vantage runes, if I needed sharpening stones, if I needed whatever I needed, I could get it off my own alts, even alchemy, right? Get my own pots and ship them over. But I was looking at to see how I could, which one I would focus on. And it turned out I only focused on one, which was my alchemy tune, because I was like, okay, that has to be where the money is, right? And it was for a little bit. I dabbled into it. I spent like a little over 500,000 in materials a few times, and I started noticing a pattern, which is it's a pattern that not only was for alchemy, but it was for the rest of the professions, is that the money was either drying up, or let's just say the amount of profits were shrinking. And this is the thing, because I spent a little over 600,000 in materials to do, I think it was 4 or 5 different flasks. 3 of them were selling really hot, and the other 2 were kind of floundering. Which, if you want to know which ones they are, let me look over here on my notes, my handy notes. Because I was like, okay, let me see which ones move, which ones are selling the most, and work on those and see if I can make them work. Now, I didn't like go into specifically how much one made over the other, but the ones that I worked on was the File of Elemental Chaos, File of Ecstatic Empowerment, File of Glacial Fury, File of the Eye in the Storm, and then the File of Charged Isolation, which I then kind of dropped because that was the one that was really taking a while to sell. And since I had my alchemist pretty high up in the as far as knowledge points, I was doing all these potions, with the rank 2 materials and proccing the rank 3 at about 31%. That's as most as I could push it for that. So from all those, I noticed that the ones that I could probably squeeze a little more were the ones that used not the reagents that don't have any rank, but actually the other ones that do, because I could get those at a lot cheaper price, like the bubble poppy, and like even the vials. I could get away with just doing them with rank 2s, the Writhe Bark, the Saxifrage, for some of these. So that's where I was looking to make some profit. So my very first batch, I did around, I want to say 120,000 pure profit. And this is, I hit every single one like 100 times, make 100 crafts. And then from that, getting the multi-crafts and all that kind of stuff. So that was the first batch. And then the second batch I did, it was not as good. I did only 60,000 in profit, around that amount. And then the third one, which was really eye-opening, I only did 8,000 in profit. And it was the same process, making 100 crafts of each of those and then just putting them up. Because if anything I've learned in this doing the auction house, is you just want to get in and you want to get out. You don't want to hold on to too much inventory, because it can drop. Like right now, I think I still have a lot of the Rousing and Awakened Order that I bought just under 3,000. I think I was like 2,800. It went up to 3,000, for the Awakened ones. And now I think they're down to 2,300. So I think I've lost money there. So now I gotta make a decision whether to dump all the order or to keep it and wait for the prices to go back up. So I don't know what I'm gonna do in that front. But it just seems that as far as making profits are just shrinking. Even for the people that, that were playing the lottery, the lariat, right? The neck piece that dropped from the mobs. That's basically winning the lottery. And even then, just there was more and more winners, and that just shrank. Like there was people saying that they were getting making the lariats with like a 50,000 commission. Some of the other early prices, they were going, for $500,000 or something stupid like that. But they kind of like settled for a little while at around 50,000. Once 2 or 3 people got the pattern on the server, especially on the one I am. And then once they did that hot fix, it just went down to basically nothing. I think right now it's standing somewhere around 10,000 per craft, which for how those recipes initially were going for, selling, they were going for gold caps or 8 million, 5 million for just the recipe. That's just winning the lottery. You can't really take that into account as far as regular gold making, as far as your professions. So that, to just recap this small little part, I spent a lot of gold on doing all the grinds and the repetition and all the stuff on my alts. I dabbled a little bit in alchemy, and just it seems that it's a race to the bottom right now. Everyone that's trying to get in is either catching up, or basically that's where the market's going. Everything is shrinking. I can't find anybody else that's really making any significant amount of gold. Like back in the Shadowlands with, like, let's say legendaries. Everyone is like kind of like it's moving fast. It's moving fast. So, as far as that goes, I think I'm gonna take a step back, and especially during these holiday season or this little period, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm not gonna try and make any money, and I'm just gonna try and see if things can level out just over the new year, and then I can look over where I'm gonna go as far as gold making, because it seems appropriately that now that the professions are, let's say, more complex, that complexity has passed through to how easy you can make gold in this expansion, and it's proving to be a little difficult, and maybe sometimes you'll have to switch from one profession to the other, just trying to find where the gold is, so that's that. Okay, in my next thing that I want to talk about, not many people coming back for the expansion. I really thought that with all the good press, with everyone saying how great it was, that we would get like a swell of people coming back to the game. And my impression is that is not the case. It just seems like it's just about the same amount of people, maybe a few more, but definitely with all the promotions that Blizzard is doing, with the free month and just getting your friends to come back, and just the general feel of the game. Honestly, I was expecting like Val Dragon to be just full of people, the whole place. I was expecting me flying from one place to another to see dragons zooming left and right all the time, right? And honestly, it just feels like I'm back in the beta. I think I've encountered 2 other players that I like cross paths with while we're zooming in the skies, and like I thought there would be more, more action, just dragons flying all over the place, kind of like in the cinematic. But that just hasn't been the case, and I think there's some people that are starting to do a little analysis with the numbers, and especially now with the raid, and it's looking like it's not the best opening that Blizzard could have had with this expansion, and it is kind of sad, and I hope it's not the case. I hope people start to realize that it's a good time to come back, especially the people that used to play before, like before I started in Shadowlands, and other expansions where it was kind of like the same type of fantasy. So we'll see what happens there. A little bit of news, which I wanted to get onto it, but it's just such a busy time with the holidays, with family, with other responsibilities, that I wanted to make a video about the trading post, but I couldn't. But a lot of people have already beat me to it, so go watch them if you haven't. They do pretty good analysis. The only thing is that I observed while I was watching is that it appears to be that it's going to be effective for February. Seems like that's where they're trying to, or that's where it's planned with the stuff that they're showcasing in the holiday and all that kind of stuff. I realize people have been saying it looks like a battle pass. It doesn't look like a battle pass. It just looks like the same old, this is a bar, you need to fill it. And if anything, Blizzard has that all over the time. When you go do a world quest, you gotta kill so many mobs. At the end, you get a reward. And this is basically the same thing. You go out, you do quests, you fill the bar, and you get a reward, right? Not only that, but you get a currency, kind of like right now when you're doing the storms or all the elemental stuff. You get a currency, and then you can buy something that's going to be, revolving, right? To keep it fresh. That's basically why I think it revolves, is just to keep it fresh. Now, one thing I'm going to do is, one thing I'm noticing is that you only get 1,000 of these coins, right, or this currency, and you can't buy everything outright. So I'm going to be very picky as to what I like. If there's nothing that I really like, or because I'm not really that which is like if I have it collector, if I have to have everything. No, only things that I really like or I'm going to really enjoy. So if I don't find anything I really like, or if I only want a few things, I'll just get those things or that one thing and save as much as of my currency I can have. Because as far as I know, you can, the currency doesn't disappear. It's like, oh, you only get 1,000 for that one. Once you earn those 1,000, that's all you get for the month. And then once the month goes over, they just poof, right? Hopefully that is not the case. I don't believe so. I wouldn't think so. So just stack up the currency. Just buy something that I really, really like. Because I have a feeling that there's going to be one of these months where I'm going to want a bunch of stuff. And I'm going to be like, that 1,000 is just not going to be enough. And I want to have a few thousand of those things stacked up. So only getting what I want. And eventually, since they're going to be, recycled or, put back into circulation, it might just prove that by the end of the day come back around, I have enough currency to just, buy it all outright. But I would think, probably in the next year, that won't be the case. They'll put in new things. Honestly, the only thing I'm really hoping for is a Brutosaur, but oof, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And again, that's probably one of those things. Maybe it'll cost 2,000, of these currencies, and you'll be like, I only get 1,000. If only I had saved 1,000 from the previous month, or some kind of stuff like that. That I don't want to get caught off guard. So unless I really like it, I'm gonna buy it. If not, I'll save the currency. Okay, now coming back to gold making, I'm just gonna go flat out and say, I think the crafting order, the working order, this whole artisan consortium thing is dead. Despite Blizzard's best efforts, it was a complete failure. Despite them saying that a lot of things have been going, or a lot of orders have been going through the crafting order system, I'm honestly going to say 90% of those are probably the same crafter putting in an order for one of his alts. That has been my case. And that has been the case for many people. So if any of these orders have been going through, I want to be generous and say 90% are just other people doing it to fulfill their own orders. And you can kind of tell how they're like, okay, from 5 orders, now you only have to do 2 or 3. I think depends on the profession. You only have to do two crafts, because they're like, yeah, these people are just spending money making 5 crafts of the cheapest thing. Like, for instance, I would send my alts that made armor, like just wrists, make wrists, and I have a bunch of wrists I can disenchant or just flat out just sell. But there have been orders going in there, but they go so fast. And sometimes the only bottlenecks are like, for instance, right now was the Lariat. There's like 100 orders waiting, but these people are putting in a commission for like 1,000 gold, and this is before when it was going for like 50,000, right? They're putting them for like 1,000, 5,000, 3,000. One of them had like 1 gold. I should have taken a screenshot. I don't know why I didn't do it, but it's just stupid amounts of money. And like when I had mine made, I think the highest commission was 13,000, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a little more generous. I'm gonna put 20,000 up with my stuff, and it got crafted immediately. My neck piece, my supposedly bis for my main, got crafted immediately for 20k, and I didn't even have to get all the. I think I got a rank 2 diamond because I was like, I'll get it, whatever. With the whole thing of you gearing up and then just dumping it once the new raid or the new season comes out, I don't want to put too much into that anymore. But yeah, the work order system, it's bad. The amount of orders that need to be there to keep other crafters busy, it's just not there. The volume is just not there. And even with the new changes that they've made, that they're going to add reagents to that thing, honestly, no, I think that even misses the mark, because players do not want to use the system. They want to keep spamming trade chat. Hey, I can make this. Send me the personal work orders. honestly, because that's probably the only way they can just keep making and making and making, because they're not restricted to the 20 crafts they can do as in the public. So as it stands right now, I don't see it going any further. And a lot of my professions, especially with the rankings that I had given them, was dependent on this crafting order system, or the work order system. And this has been the Achilles heel to those professions. And it's affecting me personally, because now I'm like, okay, do I even want to keep leathering on my main? Do I just want to just go with alchemy just for the perks of my files lasting longer? Because it already has engineering, and I like engineering for just the utility that it gives my main. But I'm like, what else do I do? Because I'm not gonna do anything with leatherworking, appears, because there's no orders. These sparks need to start flowing so people can make these pieces for transmog or something. It's probably going to be a really slow burn for those professions to take off. So as it stands right now, this work order system or crafting order system is dead. We'll see if it gets revived later down the road, but that's gonna affect your guys' gold making, because now if you can't rely on this work order system, everyone's gonna start looking in the same places you're going to start looking, and it's just going to get super ultra competitive. We're just going to be fighting over, silvers at one point, and that's just bad. And maybe it's even by design for Blizzard, because they want to start sucking out all that gold, that excess gold that's in circulation, just to, I don't know, maybe promote more token sales. I don't know. It just seems that the gold is drying up. Now I have my gold, and I'm like, man, should I really spend it? Do I really want to, in the past, I would be, I wouldn't mind. Oh, it's cost so much. Okay, that's fine. Everything within reason, right? But I wasn't really, tight-fisted with my gold. I spent it sparingly, I used to do some things with my old guild, and, provide them with flasks and a cauldron and a feast. And, I was very splendid in that case. And I really didn't mind, because, the gold was flowing. But now, especially what was going to be something that was going to really be a pillar to put these professions on, it's just not there. All right, a little more news. And this is, I guess, for those that remain playing the game, right, that are still here. And for the few that are new, this new roadmap that they have put out is pretty cool. I like it. It's breath of fresh air that you can actually have an idea of what it's going to be. Now, I hope players don't, hold them to it. And be like, oh, you said it was going to be out by this day, and just set themselves up for disappointment. Let's just take it as it is. It's in good faith, and just saying, hey, if everything goes to plan, we're going to get all these different cadences of content. And I think if we just play it cool, play it chill, let it play out, we'll get all that good stuff. And it's going to be, a great expansion as far as the roadmap goes. And it's good that they have an idea, and they're confident enough to put it out there. That gives me confidence, and to be like, okay, I'm not going to stress out too much. I know that's coming. I know it's coming. It'll happen within the year. And if everything goes well, we'll get it. So I'm very happy for that. Another little thing I wanted to tell you about, it was my transition from Alliance to Horde. Initially, when I started, I was very torn. I had no idea if I should go Alliance, Horde. I liked both of the themes, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for Alliance, and I picked Alliance, and I was sort of happy with it. There was points and times where like, man, I kind of don't like the Alliance. They're pissing me off. But, the ratios, being human, being a night elf, I really like those two. I don't think I like the Dread-Eye or the Worgen, or especially not the Worgen, or the Gnome. Nothing of those attracted me. They seem like all the all the other cooler races were on the Horde. And now that I've switched over, instead of picking, the only one that I picked that wasn't the Blood Elf was a goblin. I made a goblin, and I did their starting zone area, to level it, and it was very fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. I've only made blood elves and the goblin, and I really, really wanted to make a Zandalari troll, but I just had not time to do the Battle for Azeroth, because I didn't play that expansion, so I have to do a bunch of quests there. I really did the Zandalari area one, so I have that done. It's just the main stuff from the story on the Horde side, because I did it on the Alliance side, because I unlocked some, I think it was Void Elves or something on the Alliance side, something like that. But yeah, I really wanted to make it like a monk Zandalari troll or something. He looks cool. He looks like a Ninja Turtle. I did one in the beta realm, and it looks pretty cool. And I do want to make a warrior orc. I have already a warrior on the Alliance side. I want to port him over eventually, but for right now, I think I have 3 blood elves, the goblin. No, I think I have 4 blood elves and the goblin. It's not that I prefer blood elves. It's just for the fantasy of that. I'm like, oh no, I can't really pick something else for a mage orc. No, not really. The demon hunter has to be a blood elf, so if I can fudge there. The paladin, I was like, well, I guess I could make it an orc, or because I don't like undead. But Tauren, I'm not into furries. Sorry. So I really, okay, it's kind of like paladin. You kind of have to be a blood elf, for the whole Sindori stuff. And then for the Death Knight, I just went with blood elf. I was like, yeah, it looks really nice. The armor looks really nice, and being nice and tall. So I'm like, oh my god, here I go, just going from all humans on my alliance to just blood elves on the Horde. So, but it's been really cool. The only thing I have to say is that before, when I would do, like, let's say just for fun, LFR, the raids, oh my god, that would be such a shit show on the Alliance side. We'd wipe over and over and over and over and over and over and over. People would leave, people would come. It was just, I was just having a ball, just laughing, everybody mauled, right? And I just did, a few hours ago, I just did the LFR wing for the new Vault of the Incarnates, but as a Horde. And guess what happened? We almost one-shot everything. The first boss, one shot. The second boss, that was a 2-shot, right? We wiped once and then we did it. And the third boss was a 1-shot. I'm like, man, that's it? I kind of liked wiping and wiping on the LFR, because it was fun. Man, you Horde people, you just get everything done. Boom, 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 wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and get the hell out. I was like, oh, it's something, man. It's proven true what they say about the Horde being superior players. Anyway, that has been my transition from the Alliance to the Horde. Now, one thing I'm gonna say, and this is, some people are gonna agree, some people are not. I miss Shadowlands for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's the one I started playing WoW with. Maybe I think I want to say it's like, despite it being so fragmented, right, going from one place to another, it really felt different. It really had like a lot of variety. You have Revendreth, dark, gloomy, kind of scary theme, vampires, red, dark. And then you go to Maldraxxus, and Maldraxxus is, putrid and oozes, and the sky changes really cool, and it's this army base or whatever. And then you go to Arduin, it's beautiful, this vibrant blues and, that kind of a color palette. It's just so beautiful, and trees and everything. And then Bastion is like, oh, it's just light everywhere, beautiful trees swaying. It was such a contrast, right? And then you had the Maw, Like those, who wanted to be in the mall? But still, at the beginning it was kind of cool that you could only be there for a little bit of time, and then you got kicked out because of the eye, and then stuff like that. The zone that was really disappointing was Korthia. Korthia was really disappointing. I was like, what the hell was this? But then they hit it out of the park with Zereth Mortis. Wow, what a zone! Beautiful zone. The geometric shapes and the desert in the back and the green in the front and these, and you can walk on water. And then these cool mounts that you can get. And it was real. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that last part with being Zereth Mortis and going to the where you can make your tier gear and all that kind of stuff, and the people, the Fareem and all these guys. And now I come to the Dragon Isles and it all meshes together. I really don't feel a contrast. I think the problem is that a lot of the terrain is very vertical. So it means I'm always in this like constant vertical world where I need to go up and down and up and down and up and down, and it feels like it's all the same. Like honestly, Thaldraszus, I don't like that zone. I feel like I can sink anytime. I have to go way down to do something and then go way up, and obviously if it weren't for the dragon riding, that wouldn't be a real pain having to just fly up and down and up and down on your regular flying mounts when it makes it a lot easier when you're dragon riding. The only cool zone that I actually like, and I really hope they expand, is over by where the time flux is. That one looks really cool. I like that little zone, but it's so small. I wish that was like bigger, right? This desert looking type of stuff, way bigger. But the Zero Span, it just feels like it's this area of a bunch of trees, and then you have this little clearing in the middle, and then way over in the edge you got the Tuscars, and that's it. I don't feel any connection to the area. The Anarim Plains are pretty cool, but you fly over them real quick. The Waking Shores, I kind of like that a little bit better with all the Jarden, all the fiery stuff. But again, I feel it's kind of short. It's amazing. They say that the Dragon Isles is like the biggest expansion as far as landmass has gone, but it feels so compact. Maybe it's because of the dragon riding, that you get to point A to point B really quick. But I don't know if in the end it's probably going to be a negative. I give the expansion. It feels small. Now, with that said, with the road plan made out, we're going to go, I believe, underground. That might be the, little fresh air that you need. It's where it's significantly different. Like right now, I did the raid a few hours ago, and it was so cool. I really like just those 3 bosses. Can't wait for it to get the other wings opened, or eventually do it with a group of people on Norm and heroic. I don't really raid anymore, so that's the thing why I'm not planning on doing a whole one shot of a raid anytime soon. But I hope it's pretty cool, and I hope there's other contrasting zones that they're coming up from the roadmap. Because as far as the land, I don't know. I want to be honest with you. It's stupid, but I have this feeling of being lost. I feel lost, like I have no center to go back to. It's like, oh, if you don't have anything to do in Maldraxxus or wherever, Arden, we'll just go back to Oribos. Go back to centers. Go back to square one. And you can just fuck around there, and then, you gotta go, to Bastion. Boom. Okay, you take a train to Bastion, or, in this case, a worm. I feel like I don't have a center. Even though, Valdrakken is sort of in the center, I still feel like it's weird. I don't know. It feels weird. Maybe it's gonna take a little while for me to start letting go of the Shadowlands and, just starting to make the Dragon Isles my home. As I had mentioned before, my plans right now are to take a break. I definitely want to branch out to more things, doing more news or just doing just regular commentary on things that I see. I don't want to just completely focus on gold mining, especially since honestly, I'm gonna be real with you guys. It's gonna be looking tough, and I'm not hey, post a video about hey, make a gold cap or make millions doing this or make millions doing that. I don't like making those kind of videos just for the sake of putting out a video. It's not me. So I'm gonna take a break right now. This is probably the last video I'm gonna make for this year. So if I don't see you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate. But I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna see how the market goes. I'm probably gonna come back and I'm gonna reassess where my professions are gonna be sitting at. If there's any that I want to shuffle back to different alts, because it sucks that I have alchemy on my mage, and mage just sucks, honestly. I just kept it because I have a soft spot for the mage. I used to play Hearthstone back in the day, and mage was my main, and I just loved the fire and the ice and all this arcane kind of stuff. But playing it in WoW, especially when you gotta go do quests and you gotta do all this kind of stuff, mages is just not good for questing and for doing world stuff, or even I guess PvP they're probably good, but I don't really do much PvP on a caster. It's not my kind of deal. That's why I like warriors, I like paladins, I like demon hunters, I like melee. Definitely melee. Melee is my favorite. With my evoker that I haven't even touched, I like it because it feels like it's a little bit of both. It's not quite melee, and it does have some elements of casting, but I feel like definitely the movement. I like the movement, but that's around for another day. Anyways, as far as my professions, I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. Probably gonna whittle down the characters I really want to focus and do content with. But like I said, I don't do rating. I'm not gonna do Mythic Plus. I don't like it. And maybe just gear my characters as much as I can with what's out in the world. Hopefully, there's even more stuff they put out, more events they put out to the players that don't do that kind of ending and content. I was gonna try and focus on professions being my end game, but with it being in the state that it is, I don't know. That's probably why I feel a little bit lost in this expansion, where I don't find my place, my spot, my little niche, right, where I feel comfortable. So we're gonna see how that goes. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. I know it was a bunch of stuff to go over, but I just wanted to cover it in the video form and put it up there for perpetuity. But I do want to say thank you so much for the people that have subscribed and are still subscribed, and they haven't unsubbed. I was like, oh my god, I haven't put any videos out. I'm stressing they're gonna unsub, and I'm gonna go back down to 0. But thank you so much for all the people that have subscribed, that have liked, that have made a comment. I've tried to answer most of them. I think I have to this point. I think I've only missed a couple. But right now I'm sitting at 495. It'd be really cool if in the next day I get 5 more, so I can hit that milestone of 500 subscribers, which would be outstanding. My goal is to get to 1,000, so I can finally monetize this channel, because all the commercials that you see or all the ads, none of that is going towards me, right? And I'm thinking of setting up a Patreon. I'm thinking of sprucing up the videos, putting them a nice little intro, a nice little outro, maybe some music. I got all that planned, but being a full-time employed person and other responsibilities, it's pretty hard. Nevertheless, thank you so much for the subscriptions, for the likes, for the comments, and we'll see where this goes in the next year. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. I'll see you around.